Yo, what's going on, everybody? So today I wanted to talk to you guys about everyone's favorite sadistic Akatsuki member, which is Hidan himself. Now, over on my original channel, I briefly talked about this, and looking back at that video, it absolutely sucks. Like, it is terrible. And so what I've wanted to do is just go back and remake some of those videos, and before I just re-scripted them, added some new information, and decided like, okay, that's good enough. So instead, I'm gonna be talking to you guys unscripted when it comes to some of the stuff I talked about in the past. So when it comes to the character of Hidan, I want to talk to you guys about Hidan's origin story. And I gotta be real with you guys, okay? I know Naruto Shippuden, I went back and watched the episodes. I know Naruto Shippuden briefly touched on it, but I'm here to tell you what actually happened and what you actually got in the anime are two different things, and I would have loved to have actually seen a proper origin story done for Hidan. Like that when the Akatsuki suppression arc, which for those of you who don't know, that's the arc where Hidan and Kakuzu attack Asuma. And so when you get to the Akatsuki suppression arc, that was one of the biggest missed opportunities in that arc. Like I've covered in another video, Masashi Kishimoto was going through some terrible health problems at the time. When you get to that arc, a lot of people are saying, why don't we get Hidan and Kakuzu's origin stories? Like they just got completely glossed over. And so when you take the health reasons out, when Masashi Kishimoto wrote Naruto Data Book 3, we got a plethora of information about Hidan and Kakuzu. Now, I've already talked about Kakuzu's origin story, and that's hands down the most tragic of them all. But Hidan's origin story absolutely proves why someone like Mamoru Uchiha and even Sasuke Uchiha was absolutely right about what it means to go ahead and just do away with the ninja system. So when it comes to Hidan's origin story, what ended up happening is after the end of the Ninja War, I believe the third Ninja War, after that happened, Hidan's village, which was once a powerful military power, actually began demilitarizing. So essentially what ended up happening is they took a major hit during the Ninja War, and they took a look at everything that was going on, and they realized that their natural resources could bring them more resources than actually employing ninja. Because when you got villages like Konoha and the Lightning Village, and when you get to the Hidden Mist Village, you have all these powerful ninja who are siphoning work away from your village. It's really hard for you to eat. And so what they figured out is that based on their location, based on the fact they have all these hot springs, based on the fact that they have all these natural attractions, they'd be better off just doing tourism. And so when it comes to hardened ninja like Hidan, who make their way based off of the fact that they are essentially trained killers, that is their thing, that is their MO. Well, because Hidan was someone who craved the excitement that you got during the Ninja Wars, Hidan saw essentially being put on guard duty, accompanying tourists as they're walking through the hot springs and as they're traveling between the village. Hidan saw stuff like that as being something that is beneath his skill set. And so what Hidan ended up doing is that Hidan ended up turning on his village. And the reason why I think this is so tragic is Hidan is a byproduct of what happens when you have these ninja who aren't able to adapt to the changing times. Like in Naruto chapter 700, you actually have Tsunade telling the Mizukage that the times are changing, that this next generation that's coming up behind Naruto's children's generation basically, is not gonna be like the one that they grew up in. And so what you really have to look at is the fact that Hidan is a lot like a lot of these soldiers who, for all they know for 10 years while they're enlisted in the army, all they know is war and bloodshed, violence, bullets and bombs flying all over the place. Hidan is like some of these veterans where they come home and the skill set that they have, they can't use it. Like Hidan is like a lot of these vets who are displaced, where they can't change with a peaceful time. Hidan is essentially the same type of logic here. But what's so crazy about Hidan is that while he was turning on the village, Hidan, as he's in the process of turning, actually gets introduced to the Way of Jashin. And so essentially some of the first people that Hidan sacrifices in order to prove himself to the Way of Jashin is actually the people inside of his village. And that's why I find so fascinating, is that Hidan was a byproduct of everything that was wrong with the ninja system that Sasuke and Madara and Obito wanted to do away with. And yet at the same time, you take somebody like Hidan and you can't put him in everyday life. And so the only option he has is to only go through with killing and murder and bloodshed. And what's so crazy about that is that as Hidan's making his name, now this is where the anime and the information that we got from the data books is now starting to sync up. So essentially it's at this point that Hidan, he's starting to attract the attention, and that's when you got to the Akatsuki, and the Akatsuki were taking on all these different missions and everything. Eventually that's when they linked up, and that's when Hidan was recruited by the Akatsuki. But I want to know from you guys, what do you guys think about Hidan Hidan and Hidan's origin story? Do you prefer this type of story to what you actually got in the anime, or do you think that what Masashi Kishimoto wrote in Naruto Databook 3 is not enough to sufficiently make him a relatable character? But so always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.